They don't hide the truth from you. They give it to you in a way that makes you feel crazy when you repeat it. That's the hustle. Because once your mind starts believing every move in the world is controlled by some shadow committee, you stop focusing on your own power, your own money, your own life. You start thinking they run everything. That's the real psychological trap. But check it. The more time you spend decoding, the less time you spend building anything for yourself. And that's the point. If they can keep you believing they're the ones with all the power, you'll never discover the power you actually have. Let's check out this clip from Larry Love.
It's one of their greatest hustles. What it looks like is there's a speaker like David Icke or the other fat one who's against the government and giving you information that they don't want you to have. But au contraire, mon frere, they want you to have this information. Because when you have this information and you personally cannot prove it, not to mention, if you have read enough information that you are absolutely convinced that this conspiracy is the absolute truth, when you go to try to tell others, they look at you as a nut. So it's easy for them to tell you the truth. Those conspiracies, most of them are truth. But when they tell you and put it under that banner, what it does psychologically is more important. The more you study it and think that you're getting smart, the more you're programming your subconscious mind to believe that everything that happens is because of them and a conspiracy that they're creating or maintaining. So psychologically, you still believe that they rule, that they are Lord and Master, that they are shot callers. And that's the point. It's not about the conspiracy and you found out that President fucking Zelensky used to be a fucking comedian and now he's the president. That can't be real. Number one, you can't do shit about it and who gives a fuck. That's number one. But number two, they want you to think this way. They want you to think they have many schemes and scams in many pots that are boiling that you need to look into to understand. While you're doing this, when you say words like fucking distraction, you idiots, that's the distraction. You're looking in their pots for the conspiracy and the bullshit that they make up and create, and you're not even cooking in your kitchen. What you should be doing to program yourself is self-empowerment. And what you're actually doing is empowering them by thinking that you're decoding the bullshit that they give you to decode. Pretending that David Icke and the other fat white man discovered it. Au contraire, mon frere. This is why when you see Chris Rock get slapped, you start the conspiracy theory. So much so, and not to say that that slap wasn't bullshit or it wasn't a conspiracy. But you ever notice that every single fucking thing that happens becomes a fucking conspiracy to these guys? So, see what all they're really, that's really fake. Oh, they're really doing it for that. That's an Illuminati setup. Oh, look at the hand gestures. Oh, he didn't really get slapped. Oh, he really got slapped. People see what they want to see. Remember our word, perspective. People see what they want to see. That's why the occult is always, what I've been trying to tell you, is a different animal. It is a horse of a different color from what everyone else is talking about. Because what most, well, not everyone, but what most people are talking about are community, because they're trying to get likes, they're trying to gather people together, they're trying to create a network to sell, but they don't know how, and they don't understand the power of your you're here to study as an individual for your own particular needs, to create your own perspective at your will. My perspective, let's not even take mine. Let's use Bobby Hemmett for an example. He told you some of the most outlandish shit that he would do and try. This nigga told me he was fixing his radio and had it open. Forgot it was open, plugged it back in to test it. And there were two wires and they hit his stomach and he's getting electrocuted. And he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna see where this goes. And just stayed in the vibe, kept getting electrocuted. He said he drank peach soda to heal himself. What he was doing was reprogramming his mind to the reality that he dictated. You got to question this when you study this. Who's running reality? Why are you so, it's either a real smack or a fake smack? I can show you how it's both. Based upon your science that you said or pretend that you're studying, it is both. And I don't want to go ahead of what I'm going to give to you, but about being able to see both sides, all perspectives. That's what you gain when we say things, and I've said things. You got to go beyond humanity. You got to get out of humanity. It's not like you're divorcing yourself, staying in your room, or going on the mountaintop with a stick in the road. You're changing the way you think. If you think like the regular rabble, you're going to act, react, and live like the regular rabble. So at least you need to tell in your mind, I am not of this. Therefore, when you observe like a scientist, which is what you're supposed to do as an occultist. An occultist is a scientist. Don't think because a white man put on a lab jacket and said 5 + 4 - 7 = 2, that's a scientist. A scientist is someone on the path of knowing thyself, because the highest science you could do is understand the nature of you in your true reality. So you have to study and observe the situation you're in and how the mind works. If you're not busy trying to run your fucking mouth and pick a fucking side and something to say and just observe what's happening, you'll be able to see a new story of how black people think. And if you're outside of that human thought process, you become the scientist observing this fucking project, and that's studying. That's how you study yourself. How you see how they're socially programmed, controlled, based upon perspectives, left and right. They start you early, Democrat, Republican. You understand? They start you early. Crip blood. They start you early. Church or heathen. It's these sides and these extremes that you have to pick, that when an event happens, you're either on the side of it was real or it was fake. You can't even evaluate it in the moment and say, based upon the perspective that I chose, this is what I see. You can't even look at it based upon the tools that you have, because you have none. through your spiritual work that allow you for their spirit to speak to you before their words or actions even happen. And then you're able to evaluate what's happening on a bigger level. Doesn't mean you're right, but it's more telling than just saying it's fake because you programmed your mind to think that way, or it's real because you just never bought into conspiracy theories or whatever. You just like to see what shit that's happening on TV. So one of the first things, as I pointed out, you never heard me talk about that community shit. Now, it's nothing wrong with that, but to me, that's a level, because a community is nothing more than a group, and a group has a rule, a dynamic. There's things you cannot do, because if you do it, you are no longer a part of the group. That's what makes you a part of the group. The way you dress, talk, eat, your behavior, what you find ultimately to be moral, which is all made up. So now you have this black conscious community online with a set of morality that is just an invention. The occultist is why they call it the left-hand path. It's not because it's evil versus good, which is another way they separate your mind into making a choice. Is the slap fake or is it real? If it's real, it's good. If it's fake, what? It's bad. So early on in religion, they separated you with good and evil. All you niggas who don't like politics, guarantee you this. Who would you rather have at your house? A Republican or a Democrat? And they both ain't shit. And they're both against you. But most niggas would pick Democrat because they psychologically believe, even though they logically believe, Democrats ain't shit, politics ain't shit, and the white people running it is in for themselves, and the niggas in it are in for themselves. These fake ass civil rights niggas are trying to keep you locked into begging and all the rest of that shit we know logically. But if somebody said you gotta pick one, you're gonna say Democrat. If somebody said you gotta watch a news show, you're gonna say CNN, which does the same thing as Fox for the Democrats. You're gonna say CNN versus Fox because of Republicans, and you feel they're racist. That's all built in your head. And then you got all poor white trash who believe Republicans are there. This is all a science of separation. For when a slap happens, the argument happens, and we never get down to anything. And this happens constantly. It's really what you buy into, and you're buying into what they give you to create your disposition, your perspective, the way things come in and the way things go out. When you're doing magic, when you're doing this ritual work, what you're